I'm going to cover my metal swords one more time. I have some slight updates on there, but while waiting for everyone to join, let's go ahead. Let's move He-Man aside with his metal sword. Let's go ahead and talk about some questions people had. One question that keeps coming up, and that is, can you use Classics heads on the new Revelation figures? So let's go ahead and give it a shot. I got my spare parts man here. Let's pull off his head. Ooh. There we go. And oops. Come on, work. Oops. There we go. All right, now let's pull off Revelation He-Man's head. Hopefully I can get it off without causing any damage like the... Oh, yep, the neck pin wants to break off. There we go. And let's take a look. And it does seem to be about the same size. Okay, it's a little bit smaller. You can see his head fits on this one really easy. Burp, burp. Hold on, I got kind of an echo going on. Hey, Ben. Hey, Mickey. Hey, JD. Thanks for joining me. So, the ball joint is a little larger for Revelations, so it takes a little bit of effort to get it on there. And you may have to heat it up to do that. It'd probably work a lot better if I heated it up. But you could get it on there if you applied some heat probably to get it on there. Because it is close. It's really close. Just not quite. But, of course, the other direction works really well because it is larger. You can get it on there no problem. Now I got a little pea-sized head on the size of a He-Man body. Which actually doesn't look too bad. It almost looks like how you'd see like a big old muscle-bound guy with his small head and giant shoulders. So that's actually kind of cool looking. Anyway, but when you put this head on here, it doesn't look like he has a little small pencil neck almost compared to how wide the jawline is for the Classics. Now when I push it down all the way, maybe it might be different looking. I'm not sure. I'm just going to put the head back on. Ugh. There we go. Mr. Jaundice Boy and Spare Parts Man. It's funny, this figure alone, without any other figures around, looks okay. But the second you throw in one other figure, he looks super jaundicey. Anyway, so I did release these swords on Shapeways for plastics in case somebody wanted to put them in plastics, but I found out they're not working because somebody ordered one the other day and I got a kickback from Shapeways saying that there's some parts at the top that are too thin to print in plastic. And it's like, really? I print them in plastic all the time. So I'll talk about that in a few minutes, but let's go ahead and take a look at the first almost successful metal sword. So as you guys saw before when I first got them, they came like this and were kind of rough and stuff. And I was not happy with the roughness that was on the swords. And you can kind of see how this was the one I tried to polish out and it just didn't come out as good as I wanted it to. So I took the black classic sword that was black and shiny and I painted it with some chrome paint, which didn't work because I didn't have my sprayer set up right. And it kind of made a huge mess everywhere. So I cleaned that off. And then I sprayed it with silver paint. And then I sprayed it with a real thick coat of clear paint. And then I sprayed it with a metallic paint. And it doesn't look too bad. Now I used the black one because I figured I wanted to keep the handle black. I wasn't going to paint the handle. So this way then I could just leave a nice black handle on there. And you can see it's kind of interesting on this side of the sword. Let me turn this light off. Maybe that's the problem. The light's just too bright. On this side of the sword, it's actually smoother. You can see at the top, there's some parts that's not quite smooth. And on this side, it's actually rougher. You can still see the roughness, even though I put all those different coats on there trying to clean it up. But the cool thing is even though it's been painted, it still has that hefty metal feel, which is one of the coolest parts about these metal swords is they're hefty. So I think if I was going to do another one, I would just take and coat the sword with resin to get rid of all the bumps. So I might do another one. I might use this one right here. And then after I coat it with resin to smooth out all these bumps out, then I'm going to paint it with that chrome paint and see how it looks. And that might be my next version. Now I know that I can't expect everybody online to do this when they buy metal swords. One guy got his metal sword in the mail today and he's really happy with it. I think that's cool. If you're happy with it, I am glad that you got it and I'm glad it works for you. I personally am not happy about it, So I'm going to probably take this one, coat it with resin, and then paint it with that chrome paint that I have on this sword and see if I can do something that looks even cooler. And then if I do, I'll see if there's anybody who actually likes them that way, and I might start selling them with all that extra work done with the resin coating and the shiny metal paint. So we'll see. And again, if you guys don't want it, that's cool too. It's just a lot of effort on my part, so I'm okay not doing it. But we'll see. And of course, they will be kind of spendy because each sword by themselves are 20 bucks before I do any work to them. So, of course, I'll want some sort of profit margin. Sorry about that. My wife always tells me I keep not charging enough profit margin on my stuff. So I got to make sure to keep the wife happy. So there will be some profit margin. So I'll probably do ones ahead of time for people that want to get them. You'll have to contact me on Facebook. We'll set up prices. We'll figure it out. And then I'll order them on Shapeways, which takes, a number of weeks to get it. And then I'll do the resin coating and painting. But I'll first test it, make sure it works. So don't contact me until I try it first before that. Trying to polish and sand them did not work very well. He-Man looks buff there. Yes, this is the Classics figure. It is awesome. You can tell it's the original Classics because his shoulders are backwards and he has a wider crotch piece. So you can always spot the original first release He-Man because of the backward shoulders, the crotch piece. But I'm telling you, this hefty sword, you can really feel it in his hand. It is pretty heavy. It's kind of cool. The big old metal sword. But it's funny, when his hand gets right about here, the more the weight distributed in the front, the whole fulcrum roll, you can just feel that the joint's having a really hard time trying to still maintain. That's pretty funny. Of course, when you have it up higher, it gets easier and easier because now the weight is distributed straight across where the shoulder joint is. Now the wrist keeps wanting to flip forward like that. So I didn't add any to the wrist, but when it gets right about there, it doesn't take much at all for it to fall over. But straight up and down, then the wrist doesn't have that same pressure on it. So there you go. And of course you got to lean them back just a little bit to make up for the heft of the sword. But it is cool. It weighs about a half ounce when I weigh the swords. Forearm has the cast like the vintage. Yes. Yep. That's why I love Classics. They are so much like the vintage figures. It's so cool. Here's my vintage, not totally vintage. It's actually a commemorative figure with a vintage head on it. But they're modeled after the vintage ones. And you can kind of see it's the exact same styling as the Classics, which is why I love Classics. Because it just reminds me of the figures I had as a kid. But even better. He-Man would never accept the vaccine. I don't think He-Man needs the vaccine. Origins didn't add it. Why? Yeah, that's a good question. Now I think about it, you are right. Origins did go with the two wrists as opposed to having... Do any of the Origins figures in the He-Man line that you guys know of have that piece on this side to swap with? I don't think they do. I think they all have the standard bracers like that. That's interesting. I wonder if we'll get a special release He-Man later on that will have the bigger, longer bracer on the left. Now, of course, with Revelation, they went crazy on the bracer. I mean, it's almost ridiculous how big it is. I kind of don't like how huge it is. I'm actually have another Origins coming, and I'm going to make one that has the two small wristbands and one that has the two large wrist cuffs. Ugh. Stand, He-Man, stand. All right, so let's take a look at you guys' questions. Not that I know of surprising. Which is the heaviest He-Man figure? Let's see. The Classics feel a little heavier than Revelation, so I'm guessing Classics are heavier. Origins are way lighter. I could grab my scale and weigh them and see. Signs of it can be deceiving just because of the of the beefiness. Let me go grab my scale just for fun and see. Yes, the bracer is almost just like a shield. This is the 6 feet away one. All right, I happen to have my U.S. Postal Scale right here. Let's go ahead and turn it on and see what figures weigh what. Now, I'm guessing the Revelation Super Saiyan Skeletor probably weighs a lot. All right. There we go. Origins He-Man. 3.2 ounces. You got to take your sword out of your hand because that's cheating. 4.5 ounces. It's funny, it's like a 9, but it's a 5. There you go. And now Revelation. You got to take your sword out of your hand too, so it's all equal around everything. And he is 4.7, so I was wrong. He's actually heavier than Classics. Yep, 4.5, which is what I was afraid of because he's beefier. He just may be heavier but feels lighter because your mind tricks you. So, Revelations is the heaviest. There you go. Your favorite lesson that He-Man taught you in the end of the episode. That's funny. I'm not sure off the top of my head. I know there was some that I found that were really hilarious back in the day. I remember when you used to watch Super Friends, they'd have some little thing at the end of that as well. And I remember my favorite one was the one where they made the popsicles out of an ice cube tray. And they'd show filling the ice cube tray up with juice, putting a plastic cellophane over the top, and sticking in toothpicks in the tops to make your own little cube. And I remember just thinking that was so cool to be able to do that. Ram Man weighs the same. Hard to believe. Yep, I don't have a Ram Man sitting out, otherwise I'd throw him on there. But I was just going just off the He-Man. I'm sure that Skeletor over there and that seat looking so comfortable probably weighs a lot more. All right. Yeah, sure, Pierce. Glad I could help you out. I just noticed Fisto has that same weird gap in his elbow. Maybe I'll have to use him to see if I can fix that so I can show you guys how to do it. Today I had someone talking to me on Facebook about that, how their Skeletor has an extra gap, and they actually took it apart and cut the tip off and put it back together and still had the gap. So I may have to test that out with Fisto to see if I can fix that gap because he has the same type of thing. Doesn't look as bad as his did though. His looked really bad. But the good thing is if you have a gap like that, when you paint them, it's not going to be an issue because the paint's not going to rub at all. So that's kind of cool having an extra gap like that. Now it might rub inside where that joint is on the front side, but it's not going to rub in that elbow joint. So that's cool. Now something I've also seen lately is the female figures in the line, they're starting to make new fixed knees on them. I don't have one yet, but they will. Can you rank the henchmen of Skeletor in order of power? That's really a good one. I'm not going to do that today, though, but that would be an interesting one to do. And, of course, you'll have to factor a lot of things in there. I might make a whole entire video just for that alone. Don't trust anybody if they are nice. That is hilarious, Pop Actor. Rick. That Fisto is cool. You do a video showing the Revelation He-Man with the different He-Man armors, classics, and 2000X armors. That's a great idea. I could do a He-Man model show. Like I said, I have another one coming in the mail. So once I get him, maybe I'll do that. That way then I can just have two set up with different armors and stuff and show them and compare. Because this is kind of weird looking armor. It's the straps are so thin. It's kind of strange. It'd be nice to see what fits on them and what doesn't. I think it's cool that the wrist cuffs can come off. Because you see I swapped mine here with the right and left. This is not actually a mirror view. As you can see, the text is still forward. I just actually just switched them on the arms just to see if it was possible. All right. So I do have some new Fisto parts coming in to create a 2000X Fisto out of Molar. So when I get those, I'll make a video showing you guys how to convert a Molar into a 2000X Fisto, and I'll give you links in order to get the parts. All right, and I still have a ton of blue swords left. So if you guys want to get the clear blue swords, like always, they are $5 a piece, $5 shipping. So if you order 5 of them, it would be $30, $25 for the swords, and $5 shipping. If you order one, it would be $10. $5 to the sword, $5 shipping. And I got the 3 sizes. I have the one for the Origins, the one for the Classics, which is a little bigger, and the one that I created for Revelation, which is a special stretched edition version. And you can see them in their hands what they look like. They're really cool. So if you guys want to get those, you can. I made them originally just to test the metal swords out for the sizing. And again, this is a high disappointment how these came out. Some people liked the metal swords how they came out. I did not. I did not like how rough they were. I don't know if you've seen the close-up for those that are just joining on. But that's what the blue sword's purpose was just to size them for the hands to make sure they fit and to make sure they're the right size for the figures. But I went ahead and made a bunch because people kept saying they wanted them. And all those people seem to have vanished because I still have a whole bunch left. So if you guys want them, contact me on Facebook. And that's the way to get them. All right, Mickey, hopefully that will help. Did they ever sell those land tanks that Fisto made as toys? I'm not sure. That's a good question. All right. Well, you guys, thanks for joining. Like and subscribe. I do have some new channels coming out soon, and I'll keep you guys posted on that. And so, go back and check some of my old videos. I got some really cool stuff on some of my old videos. Like how to make your own Hebrew figure out of a clamp champ. I got that on a video, and I got some other things too. I got tearing apart, dissecting a Swamp Thing. Moss Man. So if you want to check out any of those videos, check out my video link for all the videos I have. And I think that's going to be it. I think I'm calling it quits tonight. All right, you guys. Hey, Chris, no problem. And hopefully I'll have some more videos. Hey, Jeff, thanks for joining us. So, Jeff, when you got yours today, you mean what I sent you, or did you order some of the metal swords? Or just the blue swords? Oh, okay, great. Glad you got it, man. All right, you guys. Oh, Jeff, what'd you think of the hammer? All right, back, you guys. I'm going to show you the cool hammer I sent Jeff. I'm back. So I sent Jeff a hammer for Fisto. Looks like this right here. Kind of just tossed it in his box as an extra little special thing because he's been an awesome fan, always coming into my videos and stuff and saying things, everything else. And so I gave him a giant hammer that's made for Titus. And it was kind of a fun deal. I had a couple left over from my batch run I did a long time ago. And so I thought it'd be kind of fun to throw that in there. But if you guys like this hammer, let me know. And I can make some more for some people. If you do get one, it's just a really easy paint. One, you can paint it with silver or leave it the way it is. And and then just paint this little box inside here blue, and then paint this kind of a copper gold to match the armor. And that looks really cool for Titus holding this giant, massive hammer. So again, if you guys want the special things that I've shown you before, just find me on Facebook. And the way to find me is, of course, go to he-bro.com and then click the Facebook link and you'll be there. Now, what's crazy is I did sell this helmet on eBay, but the guy still has not paid yet. So this helmet might be back up again in a few days. We'll see. Are you planning on making the 2000X power sword? I don't have any plans to. I don't know if there's a big need for those, or if there's people actually do want them. If I get a bunch of you guys contacting me on Facebook and saying, yes, we want the 2000X power sword, maybe I'll make one. So if you guys really want that and something you guys want, let me know. I suppose I could make something like that. So just let me know. Yeah, Chris, it happens more than not lately. I found a lot of people that will bid on your auctions. They'll let it go all the way through, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't mean to bid that high. Sorry." But the guy still has until tomorrow, and then tomorrow eBay will send him a non-paying bidder. Then he'll have till like Sunday, I think, or something, and then it will cancel automatically. That's right. I know you need the Kildor acid vial, man. I'm sorry. I keep not doing that. That would be cool to make. John, I am so glad that you love your metal sword. Yeah, for me, it's just, I'm just not happy with it. I just really expected something really shiny and beautiful. And, I mean, it's cool, the heftiness of it and the uniqueness of it's cool, but I was just really expecting something else out of them. But you guys know me. I'm kind of picky on how things should be done. So, but yep. Oh, hey, I did find the twin sword that matched the She-Ra sword. It was sitting on my desk in the other room, so you can see when you get your She-Ra from Super 7, you get these two swords with it, and it's the only two swords that are actually true twin swords that's the exact same size, and that's why I bought so many of those She-Ras, just for the swords and shields, because now if He-Man holds the same sword that came with She-Ra, yes, it is a little bit small, because hair's the size of the normal sword he comes with. So it's a little bit smaller, but it matches her sword perfectly. Now you got to put some heat shrink tubing on it to make it fit his hand, because the handle's too small. But it's just really cool because now they truly are twin swords and they really do match. So the storyline works perfect. So that's why I bought a bunch of those. I think Big Bad Toy Store has them for like $20 or something. And $20 for two swords and a shield, yeah, it's a little overpricey, but it's worth it for that coolness. All right. Anyway, like, subscribe, tell your friends, and eBay shipping is way too expensive in my book. Some users abuse the shipping prices. Yes, Rick, that is true. I just use eBay to do my shipping automatically, and if it's overseas, it's outrageous. I feel bad when I sell to somebody overseas because I know they're going to be stuck with a giant shipping bill. It's crazy. That is a great idea, John. To put a jewel in it and make it She-Ra's. Thanks, Rick. I appreciate that. I try to be, Rick. I try to be legit. Man, I am so tired today. Oh, I don't even know why. I had my nap and everything. All right. Well, hey, like, subscribe, tell your friends, and I will see you guys next video. Bye now. Thanks, Don. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Chris.